Hi there, welcome back to another lazy show here on YouTube as well as on Facebook, where we show up to share a little bit of our knowledge to optimize AutoCAD so that way you can save some of your time. All right, so we're gonna start soon. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna start soon reading some of your comments. I see some people already writing on the chat. But as always, I want to first say thank you to these folks on my screen, and also thank you to our new Patreon, Peter Anderson, for supporting this slideshow, right? I really appreciate that you guys do that. So yeah, and let's see now. Let's jump to the chat and start reading some of your comments before we start today's presentation. Let's see. Michael Douglas is on the chat. Says, "Good morning, Irving, to you and all here. Have a great day." Good morning, Douglas. I'm happy that you are here as always, showing up and sharing a little bit of your knowledge too, right, with the community, because I know you have plenty of experience using AutoCAD, so that's great. We have 6 people connected live. That's great. We're gonna start soon the presentation, but as always, I like to read some of your comments and say hi to you on the chat right before we start. We have also Xavier on the chat. Says, "Hi Irving, how are you?" I'm fine, Xavier. Hope you're doing good too. I'm very excited for today's presentation, where I'm gonna share a great tool or command that I created, and I think it's gonna be very helpful also to you. Let's see. Xavier says, "I always learn something new from you." That's great, Xavier, and thank you for letting people know that, right? That's one of the goals of the show, to go and find different ways to save some time working in AutoCAD, right? So we try to do that either by creating custom tools, commands, blocks, basically anything, right, that we can come up with to save some time. That's what I will be sharing here on these slideshows. So yeah, we have 7 people live. That's great, and more people are joining. We're gonna start soon the presentation, and hopefully we're gonna learn something useful today, right? I think today it's all about optimizing AutoCAD, right? We try to simplify the live shows for people who don't know. We have 3 so far. One is the optimization of AutoCAD, which is today. Again, creating custom tools, blocks, anything that can save us some time. Then we have the learning show, which we use it to teach AutoCAD, right, to folks that are beginners. And then we have the new Zoom, the new meetings that we do also on Zoom. So those are so far the 3 live shows that we do. Let's see if there are more comments in the chat. If not, we'll jump right to the presentation. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to start. Let me get ready over here on my screen. And as always, you can interrupt me at any time during the presentation, because I like to do this interactive, right? It's not only just me talking and presenting, but I like when you ask questions, or maybe you share your ideas also. That would be great. So let me get ready over here and we're gonna start soon. Okay, let's see over here. Right. All right, let's get ready. And here we go. Hi there. You want your viewport scales to be ready for efficient work, but constantly creating your viewport scales in every drawing is frustrating and time consuming. So watch this simple trick to ensure consistency across all your AutoCAD drawings. So to start, I have this drawing in model space that I would like to set a drawing scale or viewport scale. So whenever I want to do this, what happens is that I don't have the viewport scale or drawing scale also are known that I need, right? So, but so I could of course create this drawing scale by going to the custom tab and start adding some of my scales. But so let's do that, right? Let's do that right now. Let's create a one scale, following of course some drawing standards, and in order to do that I'm gonna open a file over here. So it's right here, and in order to create drawing scales, right, we need a chart like this with the scale factor, so that way we can simplify our life. So for instance, I'm gonna create a scale right now of let's say let's create a scale of 1/4 equals a foot, right? Or I mean, let's create something like, let's create this scale 1/8 equals a foot. So in order to create that, we need to know first the factor, right? The factor scale. So, and that will be 96. So let's remember that number, and let's go ahead and create quickly a scale. So I'm gonna click the add option over here, and over here what I can do is type the following: 1/8 of an inch equals a foot, like so. And the scale properties, we have paper units, which in paper units we want always to be 1, but in drawing units, that's where our scale factor of 96 will be used for this specific drawing scale, or also called viewport scale. So let's put that over here, 96, and let's click OK. So once we do that, we can simply hit OK. And that way, whenever I get inside my viewport, by double clicking on it, I will be able to select my new viewport or drawing scale by clicking on it, and boom, that way I can immediately scale my drawing accordingly and nicely, right? So that's the way we do it manually. And again, this tutorial or presentation, it's all about optimizing this, right? We don't want to be wasting time recreating these drawing scales on each drawing, because if you can see over here, if I try to select a drawing scale, we only have 1, 2, 3, and 4 different scales. However, if we go to a different drawing like this side plan, we can see that we have so many drawing scales. So how does that work, right? You'll be creating one drawing scale in one drawing and don't have it available on your next drawing. So let's simplify things, right? But before we do that, let me jump to the chat and see if you have any questions before we continue. Again, we are live, so it's not all about me presenting, but maybe give you a couple of seconds to see if you're good, if you're still following along right before we proceed. So far, we just went over how to manually create a drawing scale or viewport scale. But that's not what we want. As I was explaining, we want to kind of simplify this process and have always our drawing scales available in all of our drawings. So let's see, let me jump to the chat if we have any questions. With 8 people connected live, that's great. Very happy that more and more folks are joining us live. All right, so there's no question so far. That means I'm doing a good job explaining, I believe. So let's keep moving. All right. So, okay. So let's now use a different approach to create our viewport scales, right? We have 3 only so far. So the way we can achieve kind of a better or an automatic way to create your drawing scales is by using the options dialog box. So I'm going to use that, OP and enter. And this will bring up the options dialog box again. Over here, what we can do is set some preferences. So if we go under the user preferences, we will have an option called default scale list. So if we select that option, we will have many different drawing scales or viewport scales over here. And for this specific site plan that I just showed you, what we need is some engineering skills, right? Because for instance, I'm in the architecture profession, and most of the time we also need some engineering skills to set up the scales for our site plans. In this case, we don't have, but I'm gonna start creating a couple of them using again the chart. And I'm gonna start adding again. So let's click add, and what I'm gonna create first is these civil drawing scales at 1 inch equals a foot and so on. So let's quickly do that. So I'm gonna simply go ahead and copy my text like so that way I don't type it again. So 1 inch equals 10 foot, and for the scale factor, again, very easy, following our factor chart, that will be 120. So let me put that over here on under the drawing units, 120, and click OK. So that way I have my civil scale, right? So I can quickly add more if I wish. I'm gonna add a couple more really quick because it's very simple using the scale factor chart that I have over here, and I shared this with you on another live stream, so you can go ahead and grab it also to follow along. So I'm gonna add one more over here like so, and this will be 360 for this scale. All right, so I added 3 different civil drawing scales, and I'm gonna click OK. So now what happened is that if I click apply and OK, you will see that whenever I want to change to this engineering scale, I won't have it available. So that's a problem, right? And the reason why we don't have it available is because we didn't create it over here under the custom options. We created it under the options dialog box, remember? So there is an extra step that we need to do in order to get our drawing scales. And that's a little frustrating, right? But let me show you first how we do it manually, and then we will jump to the better way, right? To the automatic way. So in order to get our new drawing scales that we just created it, what we need to do is go to the custom option under the drawing scales, and here there will be an option to reset your drawing scales. So once we do that and click that, we will have this dialog box. Of course, our units are imperial because we are in the US, but you can pick yours, and I'll pick imperial scales, and boom, automatically all of our viewport scales are showing up now, and we can simply hit OK. So this way we will now have available all of our drawing scales. Now this is a little tedious to do, right? If we have to do this for every drawing, because look what happened. I have my civil drawing scales over here, but let's say I go to another drawing over here to this side plan, right? And I want to change to my civil drawing scales, and you can see that my civil drawing scales are not showing up here. So that means that I need to kind of do this manually on all of my drawings, and that's not what we want. That's not what we do here in the Lazy Arquitecto shows. So let me now jump to how I do this quickly and immediately, right? So in order to do that, what we can do is create a new tool, right? A new command. But before, I'm gonna stop and give you some seconds to see if you have questions before we proceed with creating this awesome command that I call lazy scales. That will help us. It will help us quickly have our drawing scales on any drawing, right? So let's see, with 6 people live, let's go to the chat really quick, see if there are questions before we move on. All right, so we have Duke, Xavier on the chat. All right, so I guess so far no questions. That's great. So let's keep moving then. All right, so what we're gonna do to create our custom command is well, we have a question in the chat. Let me jump and read that before we proceed. Again, try to do these live streams interactive, right? Because that's what we are live. Otherwise, I'll just do a regular YouTube video, right? So let's jump to the chat, and Douglas Michael says, great refresher. Thank you, Duke. I mean, we're trying to kind of start with the basics, right? And give you a little bit of maybe a better understanding of how drawing scales work in Autocad. And that way, when we create our custom tool, it's so much simpler and you can quickly follow along, right? So we are ready to start the creation of this lazy scales command. And the way I did this, right, is by utilizing the tool palette. So we can open that by using the Control-3 shortcut on my keyboard. And here I can add anything to my tool palette. I could add a polyline, I could add a text. So I'm gonna simply drag this polyline over here, and that way I can create my command by simply checking the properties or selecting the properties by right clicking on it, and here I can change the flyout from yes to no, so that way I can change or modify the command string. So first, before I do that, I'm gonna rename my command. So I call this command lazy scales, and for the command string, I don't like to waste time writing again, so I already posted this command on our Patreon page. So what I'm gonna do is simply copy that command that we previously created, right? So I'm gonna copy this and simply go under the command string again and simply paste that code, right? So that way I don't have to do it again, right? That's what we do on these live streams. We don't like to waste time. So quickly to explain this, what we're utilizing is the command scale list edit. So that's the command that we can utilize to open the custom scales, right? Remember that we open it. So then we're following some instructions to reset. That's why we're using the R character, Y for yes, and then we're adding also this message that let us know that, hey, you're good with your drawing scales now. So let's click OK, and now let's quickly test it, right? So we can see that if we try to select a scale over here, we don't have any of our civil scales. Also, if we go over here on our other drawing, we will have different drawing scales, right? That's the civils right here. So again, it's not synchronized in all of your drawings, so you'll have to do this manually on all of your drawings. So let's go ahead and test it now. So let's click on it, and boom, your viewport scales are now available. All right, so let's check if the civil scales are ready now. So let me select that, and boom, you can see that now our created civil scales are there to quickly utilize them as we need, right? Awesome, guys. So what do you think about this command, the lazy scales command that we just created it? Again, a quickly way to store and restore all of your drawing scales so you can have them available on all of your drawings. So let me jump to the chat now and see what do you think about today's command, the lazy scales. So before we wrap up today's presentation. All right, Douglas says great refresher. Douglas says love it. Nice, Doug, thank you. Happy that you found this new command useful, right? Again, AutoCAD behaves a little weird with drawing scales in a way that you might have some in one drawing, you might not have them on another drawing. You have to manually create them. They are not saved on all of your drawings. It's weird, but thanks to this quick tool, right, the lazy scales, we can quickly now have all of our drawing scales on any drawing, right, with one click. I mean, why we have to like waste energy and time, right, doing this all over again? Our friend Rachel says hello. Hi Rachel, you'll be a little late today. But that's okay. You can rewatch the live stream later if you want. Happy you are here though, Rachel. I think we finally met. Did we met Rachel Douglas on our Zoom meeting? No, that was Jeff, right? That was Jeff. Sorry. Rachel, we had to meet you in our Zoom meetings the next time. Douglas says GM Rachel. What do you guys think about this command? So let us know. And by the way, for folks that are supporters of the show, you can simply go to our Patreon page and find our macros right over here, and you can simply go ahead and copy, so that way you don't waste your time typing each character, right? I try to simplify your life for you. So yeah, so let's see over here. Our friend Rachel says, I missed the Zoom meeting, the 5 hour behind I kept forgetting about. Yeah, Rachel, I mean, yeah, we want also to meet you finally with probably Doug also. So for people who don't know about the Zoom meetings, we are doing these CAD meetings, we call them, right? Where on a regular office. For people who don't know, a CAD meeting is simply a way to hang out in an office and kind of share some tips and tricks about anything, about AutoCAD, about the office, about architecture, anything in general. It's like a networking thing, but we are trying to implement those CAD meetings here in the channel, and so far people are enjoying those. So because we got to know each other, to share some experiences. I know Duke, it's I think a contractor, I'm an architect, and there are more folks that are there also. So let's see, Duke says big time saver for sure. Thank you, Duke, for sharing your thoughts. We're about to wrap up today's live stream. Let me know, what do you think about this command? Would you be implementing in your workflow? Let's see, walking on Sasha says, I'll need to write you, Irving, about a ribbon creation. Yes, Rachel, you can write me an email, or maybe bring your question on the next Zoom meeting, right? Yeah, so for the Zoom meeting, you can bring a question, you can bring a trick, a tip, or anything that you want to talk about. So yeah, Rachel, I'll wait for your email. Joseph Carlo Lee. Hi, I just came in, first time joining this. Whoa, Carlo, that's awesome that new folks are finding our live streams. That's great. That means either YouTube or Facebook are recommending our live stream, right, to more and more people. So I'm happy for that. And welcome aboard, Joseph. We are here each Sunday at 10 a.m., and that is Pennsylvania in the United States. So yeah, Duke says, do I give away to get more to show up at Zooms? Do I give away to get... What do you mean, Duke? Are you talking about the contest that we do to gain a free pass to our Zoom meetings? If you're talking about that, we do that usually 1 week before the Zoom meetings, right? So I think you're asking about that, Douglas. Jeff Wallington says, great command. Yeah, Jeff, I'm happy that you think this command is useful. That's what I'm sharing it to, because I personally use it, right, at the office, at the architectural office where I work. So I don't have to create any drawing skills at all, and I think you also deserve that. You don't wanna be creating this stuff, no. So Duke says, yes, what would be a good subject, Rachel? That would be a good subject. Okay, you're referring to the ribbon creation, right? Yes, I mean, we kind of did a video about it, but it's very, very old, probably 3-4 years ago. So I think I need to do an update on that. Jeff says, great Zoom meeting last week. Yeah, Jeff, it was nice to finally meet you, like face to face. That was great. Doug was also very happy, I believe. So yeah, I mean, I love to, listen to stories of other people, share some knowledge, right? Because I'm sure you have plenty of knowledge that I can absorb, right? And yeah, our friend Duke says no, give away a command or something, or maybe a template, something to entice people to show up. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea, Duke. Thank you for bringing up all of these great ideas, guys, because that's um, that's what will make this channel or this community better, right? It's not only myself trying to think on different ways to improve the channel, but if you guys give me some ideas and that I can implement, that's also great. And yeah, so Luke says, yeah, so maybe I can, yeah, I'll think about it, Duke. If you have specific ideas, let me know. But yeah, I'll think about that, how we can. By the way, we kind of do this already, right? When we create a dynamic block, we give it away, right, to one of you folks for free. Usually, our dynamic blocks are for our patrons, people who support our work, right? So, but whenever we create these dynamic blocks, we share or give it away for free also, right? So maybe that's what you're referring to, or but you're saying a template. Okay, I'll think about it, Duke, and let's see what we can come out with. Let's see, we have more comments before we wrap up today's live stream. Let's see, we have 8 people still live. That's awesome that you are still here with me. Joseph says, I discovered you when I wanted to learn how to make a dynamic door block. I'm only starting to realize the deeper functions of Autocad. Great comment, Joseph. There are, like you, many folks that are not utilizing the real potential of AutoCAD, right? With dynamic blocks, macros, Lisp, and so on. So, yeah, you don't want to be wasting time, right, and energy trying to do things the long way, right? So, yeah, Joseph, thank you for sharing your experience with the community. Duke says, I can't remember yesterday, let alone 4 years ago. Yeah, you're referring to the video about Ribbon, right? That I did 4 years ago. Um, yeah, let's see. Let's see if I can quickly find it or not. Maybe I can find it. Let's see. Okay. That's our channel, right? And lazy learning, lazy macros, blogs. I think that would be on. Yeah, I had to find it, Duke. Like you're saying, it's 4 years ago. Maybe I need to do an updated version on how to customize the ribbon, right? But that's a great topic, and thank you for the recommendation. I think that recommendation was from Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Hat says, can you make a video on annotation scales, like using multiple viewports with different scales? Yes, a hat. So that's an interesting topic that you are putting right there. You're talking about annotation scales. Yeah, I mean, to answer your question briefly, we have 2 ways, right? One way is the manual option, which is utilizing a scale chart like this one over here, like the one that I shared. So we can simply scale our text or annotation following some factors, right? That's easy to do also, but then we can also use annotative objects, right, that can quickly adjust. Now it's all up to you, but some firms like the one that I am don't like to use annotative objects just because the headaches that it can bring, especially for some folks that don't understand how they work, how they behave. Sometimes you won't see your text showing up, or it's very, very, very tiny. People don't understand how to fix that. To avoid all of those headaches, people like to do it the old way, which is utilizing a scale chart like this and simply changing the size of their nodes to according to this chart, right? Again, two options, but yeah, I might do a video explaining in deep or in detail those two options, and people can decide which one to use, right? But thank you, Hat, for bringing a good topic. Rachel says annotation skills are the V's. Just need to practice though. Hat. Yeah, Rachel, that's what I was trying to explain to a hat, right? That some people like to use them, some avoid them. But yeah, we can do a video about it. Excellent. Duke was having technical difficulties, or except Duke was having technical difficulties. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing of doing everything live or everything like right in the moment. But I think we overcome those difficulties, right, Jeff, from what I remember. So yeah, Jeff Wallington says money. What do you mean by money, Jeff? Jeff, I couldn't hear anyone. Had to reinstall Zoom. Now it works fine. Glad to hear that, Duke. Wow, we have so many comments today. That's awesome, guys. Scale chart for imperial groans. Metric is so much simpler. I don't know about that. What do you think, Duke? I know you use Imperial too, so you are on my team. So we use Imperial in the US. I mean, I don't know. I use metric, but not really deeply, like just maybe once. Another good subject, a hat. It's one that can get confusion to new user, especially in model space when all the anno scales are visible. Yes, Duke, again, you need to understand how these annotative objects behave so you can fix some of its problems, right? Some people don't understand them and it will give you headaches. So yeah. Walking on Sunshine says, hey, but you can turn that off, Douglas. Oh, I think you guys are talking about annotative objects. So by the way, talking about that, we have a video about that. So let's see if we find it. Videos. I think it's on our issues and solutions playlist, from what I remember. Where is it? Block problem. Here we go. I think this is it. Yeah, so guys, if you are interested on annotative objects and the problems that it might bring, this is the video for you. Because this was a co-worker's problem right at the office, where he found a block that wasn't showing up properly, and it was an annotative block. He will never figure that out, but we could solve the problem. And so that's a good and short video, 4 minutes, to give you a better idea of what we are talking about here about annotative objects and its problems. So let's see where I was. Sunshine and Douglas. Yes, we have 9 people live. That's awesome, guys. That's great that there are more folks that like to chat about AutoCAD in general, right? Douglas says it is Rachel. Metric is simpler. Oh yeah, Doug? Who also believes metric is simpler than imperial units? Raise your hand. Ahad says, thanks, Irving. You're welcome, Ahad. Thank you for giving us good ideas, right? Or recommendations for future live streams. That's great. Douglas says, if number 1 doesn't fit, try number 2. Opposed to 116 to 1. I think you are still talking about annotative objects, Duke, but it's funny how you put it that way. But we cannot just randomly pick the next scale up, right, to make our annotative objects show up. That's not how it works, Duke, but that's what we're gonna do, an entire live stream to cover those points or items, right? So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting topic. You guys are gonna have so many questions about annotative objects. Scale anno display. Here we go. Our friend Rachel is giving us one system variable already to work with annotative objects. So yeah, thank you, Rachel. Let's see. Rachel's Douglas says, I know, Rachel. I was referring to newbies. Even confusing not knowing how to shut it off. Yeah. You guys are still talking about that. Gora says, hello, sir. How are you? Hi, Gora. Thank you for being here with us. It's been a long time since we don't see you here on the live streams. Gora, you were one of the first followers or subscribers from the show, right? So that's nice that I'll see you again. I'm good. Hope you're doing good too, Gora. Gora says, I always work with annotations. I think you mean with annotative annotations, right? The ones that auto-update depending on the scale of your drawing. Gora, thanks for sharing that. Rachel says, yes, in my office I like to not tell the newbies for a few weeks, let them suffer as I did when I was a newbie. Oh my god, Rachel, why do you do that? Okay, you like to do that, huh? Ahad says, for me, I want to use it for enlarged plans, for example, in mechanical plumbing. Yeah, Ahad, so you use your annotative text or objects for mechanical and plumbing. Yes. So yeah, I personally use them too for projects, right? But at the office, we don't use them. That's a policy, so we have to follow policies. But yeah, I also set this up for other clients here from the AutoCAD consultations that we do, right? So I also set them up for them. So yeah, Duke says, I was talking to Rachel about metric versus imperial. Yeah, doing great. Happy to hear that, Gora, that you're doing great. Hopefully we can see you more often here in the live streams, right? Ahad says, yes, metric is simpler. Rachel, this is funny. You said, tell them. Rachel, you show how to tell them. I to use annotations all the time, mostly for details. Yes, that's a great use of annotative objects for details or sections, right? Duke, because we are always using a different scale or portion of our details or sections on different scales, and that's a good example actually of using it. So maybe for the video about annotative objects, I'll use a section or a small detail, right? Duke, thank you for that idea. Dropout Engineer says, hello, sir. Hello, Dropout Engineer. You are late to the conversation, but that's okay. Gora says, it's great when people share their experience and skills with people. Yes, Gora, I like to do that also. But I know our friend Rachel was joking, so... Duke says, I wish there was a way for us to post examples here. That's interesting, Duke. I don't think there is a way in YouTube, but I'm sure there is a way on Facebook. And on Facebook, or also on our Patreon page. For instance, on Facebook, you can just share a post with your image, right? Maybe you want to show your Autocad screen, right, or something. Take a screenshot, create a post on Facebook, and then tag me at Lazy Arquitecto or something like that, and then I will be able to see it. And people who also follow Lazy Arquitecto, like Rachel, Gora, and all of you folks, will also be able to see Douglas' Facebook post. So that's one way. Another way, an easier way, would be on our Patreon page, Duke. You can simply share that, and the community here on Patreon will be able to see whatever you want to share. Maybe your work, I don't know, it's all up to you. Or your question, right? Maybe. The Duke says, not what I'm aware of. It would be good during chat time. Yes, we can do it on our Zoom meetings, Duke, right? You can bring your question, and we can go over on our Zoom meeting, so that way everybody there can learn from your question, right? Yeah, good idea. To better show what we're talking about. Oh, you mean like live, right? That's what we do the Zoom meetings, Duke. So you can share your screen, you can send pictures or anything, right, during the Zoom meeting. 10 people live, that's great, guys. Wait till tell you I've also undefined commands on newbie laptops. Wait, did I tell you that I've also undefined commands on newbie laptops? Many. I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about making some commands in AutoCAD not available. So when people type the command like line, enter, nothing will show up. It will just say undefined command or command doesn't exist or whatever. So you're playing with your coworkers, Rachel. That's a good way to have fun at the office. For sure during Zoom, says Duke. Walking on Sunshine says, correct, Irving. Yeah, I was just trying to explain, Rachel, to folks that might not understand what do you mean by undefined command, right? So, but yeah. All right, we're about to wrap up today's live stream. It was nice to chat with you and have that interaction. We also learned a new custom tool, the lazy scales, to quickly add your drawing scales to any drawing. So yeah, let me read some of the last comments before we finish this live stream, and we're gonna see you here next Sunday at 10 a.m. PA or Pennsylvania time in the US. Duke says we're still getting to know each other, which takes up all of Zoom time. Longer Zoom meeting will have time to demonstrate and or show off our work. Duke, I've been thinking on that actually, and I have some ideas to improve our Zoom meetings. One idea that I have that I can share with you right now is that maybe we can give like 30 minutes before our Zoom meeting to you guys to kind of meet each other and maybe network, right? Create this networking 30 minutes. So it would be just you talking to each other. And then after 30 minutes, I will come, right, and join the Zoom meeting and start the whole Hangout or Zoom meeting, whatever, or CAD meeting. And that way you guys have more time to talk to each other like you are suggesting. So I might try that. I might leave the meeting open, right, 30 minutes before, and that way you can just join and talk, meet. That would be nice, I guess. I'll try that next time. See how it goes. Great speaking with everyone. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day and week, everyone. Maybe a simple video on annotation scale can help with a small example. Yes, Irving style. Great idea. Presented at next Zoom. See who's on board for that. Alright guys, I think we're gonna stop right here. It was nice to chat with you and to interact, and hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you here next Sunday.